Hello, my name is Angel Sarah, and today I'll be doing a channeled message for your highest good. Looking at my shirt and how it shines in the light, and seeing how as I move, different parts of it are illuminated. And I just got done watching the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once for a second time. And one thing I like to think about, well, in my life, I haven't been a very spiritual person till the last year and a half. Oh, hello, little ghost. Hi, you're so cute. Goodbye. It's a good jump, sir. I wasn't really a spiritual person before then. And about 6 months ago, I became really aware of all the different universes splitting off in realities that are happening constantly, but to the point where it was very disruptive. And it was like I was thinking, oh, if I would have done this first in the day before that, or woke up at a different time, or just did things in a different order, and I was overly thinking about in the moment, oh, I could be here instead of here, more like within my day. And I grew up being very, very perfectionistic, especially when it came to school and activities, and I wanted to do everything right. And it felt very much like my worth was tied to my performance. And throughout the spiritual journey, I let that go a lot in terms of societal standards. But I realized I was still putting a lot of pressure on myself now in a spiritual sense, just kind of like transferring that, or saying, well, I want to be the most aligned in every moment. So it was like thought I needed to figure out like retroactively, oh, if I would have done this in a different order today, then I would be more aligned right now. Which is a very lack mindset to have and very unaligning. But with this shirt and seeing how everything shines in a different way and thinking about that movie, all those versions of myself, they do exist. Every possible version, every different choice you could have made throughout the day, throughout your whole life, and that you are always will ever make. And more than that, that you are everything else too, all other people, all other beings, all other matter. All those versions of you in terms of your current soul and anything else in the universe, they're already taking place. So they already have their place to be. There's nothing for you to figure out or to do in that sense. And the more that you live your current present life, feeding into all that and trying to see all of the possibilities in terms, again, of a lack mindset and almost wishing you were somewhere else, the less present and truly aligned you are in this moment. And so just knowing that, seeing like this sparkle shine this way is just as valid as seeing it shine this way. And it's more about shining your individual authentic light in this moment rather than trying to chase the highest version of yourself. It's more about gradual sustainable change, and not even striving for that change, but being at peace with where you are currently in your current life. This is the first tarot deck and only one I have right now. It's this learning one. I've been into tarot I guess I became even okay with like watching videos about it because I was very scared before of tarot in like the last year. And one thing I really like about this is that all the cards, they come with these other cards that say like what the chakras are, and they say what all these planets are. And I'm more familiar with the chakras. I'm not too familiar with all the planets. And so I want to look at the planets a bit more while doing readings and just gradually get to know them a bit more too, because that's the thing too. When thinking about all the other things I could be, I used to be very upset where I wasn't, in terms of where I wouldn't even do something unless I felt like I had already mastered it. So in the past, if I was like an older version of myself doing tarot readings, I would have wanted to memorize every single thing and make sure I had it really down, or else I felt like, what I was doing wasn't valid or wasn't like good enough. But now I just feel really at peace. And part of that is because I know that another version of me does have it all down, and that I'm just not interested in living like that. Or other people who are other versions of me, or we're all versions of each other, is really well versed in tarot or in whatever. And so it just feels a very non pressuring way of myself where, yeah, there's some other version of myself in some sense living that life. And it makes me feel more responsible for just living my life right now in a lot more flow and allowing a lot more perhaps previously perceived mistakes to occur in my life. And it makes me feel very at peace with things. So I'm going to be pulling 3 cards to start: the situation, energy to lean away from, and energy to lean towards. And I do this because I enjoy it, but also because on the back of one of these cards, it says like that's one of the exercises to do. And I thought it was very helpful, and it's something that I do every morning while journaling for myself. So the first card we have here for the situation is the Ace of Cups. So with outpouring here, new beginnings, and also I'm just seeing a lot of water too in this card. And I like when I think about tarot, I just think about, and messages in general, just kind of what first pops into my head and what is flowing out of me. And I see that too with really just finding what brings you joy in life, and not trying to figure it out from a logical sense, but more feel into it. And the more you do that, see, it has the crown chakra too. It's more this inner knowing, it's more this connectiveness and connecting to your feelings, that your feelings aren't necessarily yourself, but you can connect with them to see what feels good in your body in this new time of life. Because the more that we go through life and learn about ourselves, the more we become to know ourselves. So I wanted to look here too at what the signs are for the planet charts. So I'm not sure. This one, see, it has these 3 different signs, but I don't think any of them are a planet. I think they're all, see on the box it has like astrological signs, but I don't know what the astrological signs are at the moment. So I don't think I'm going to do that. I mean, I guess they correspond with planets, but I don't think I want to try to figure that out right now. All right, so the energy to move away from here, we have the Devil. And so I'm seeing here immediately like the root chakra, like don't try to stay rooted in where you are currently, because things are about to shift dramatically. You don't really have to, see, I don't like the word obsess, but you don't have to hold on to or overanalyze where you are currently or even how things are moving. But I see here too with like, they have like this tail of fire, and then this tail, it's like a grape. But I'm seeing more instead, let your old life burn and new grounded roots are going to take place in your new life. Okay, let's see if there's, yeah, there is a planet for this one. I wonder why some have planets and some don't. This one is Saturn, so responsibility and discipline. Yeah, so I'm seeing just let go of the discipline that we've been taught and instead lead into the idea of devotion. I really like that word instead of discipline, because discipline often sounds like strict and very rigid, where devotion sounds more like you're devoted to yourself and to taking care of your mental health regardless of where you are. And so really letting go of any responsibilities that you felt like you ought to have towards your past that were put on you, and instead letting that all go so you can feel into how you're feeling currently and build up your new life. So the card to lean into, the energy to put into for the Ace of Cups is the Page of Cups. So again, this more water sign. And I like too because the cards have like water behind them in the background. I guess I don't really know what the devil has behind it. It kind of looks like rocks. So I don't know if that's like for the earth or not. But for the Page of Cups, yeah, seeing it has the grounding symbol too. So yeah, don't be grounded in the past, but start building new roots in the future. And it's more that the roots are already there, but just feel into them. So instead of trying to dig up any old roots from the past, lean into the future. And so here too, it has the moon, yeah, which is feelings and instincts. Yeah, so again, just really feeling into it. Again, with this water symbol, like the Ace of Cups is like what's happening right now is we're letting things pour out of us. And that can be a really uprooting feeling too, because a lot of our emotions, especially at the last push of a big change, can be really all over the place, can be really intense, can maybe even feel just super unaligning, because you're purging out the last of it and just letting it fill up. See, it's kind of level here, it's just filling up. But here with the Page of Cups, there's more like waves behind them, like going up and down. And so there it's just like what was happening right now is we're letting our emotions fill up and flood out. But after that, we're going to have a lot of good ideas come to the surface. A lot of our intuition is going to be reinforced, and we'll have a lot more to pour into life. So I want to do 2 more cards regarding this. So I like to do one at the bottom of the deck. Next, we have the 2 of Cups here, which is love. And again, more cups, just lots of water, lots of letting things flow out. And here, the 2 of Cups is also related to the third eye, which is seeing. So really seeing into the future, imagining what you want. That could be in love, in romance, also in connection. So just connection to other peers, connection to work, but also compatibility. So that can be compatibility within your own habits, within your own routine. What feels compatible in this new life that is away from this devil energy of kind of like being rooted in the past here. And I see too, there's like these little like snakes kind of going around here, this lion thing, and just really, it reminds me of a Kundalini awakening and just allowing your masculine and feminine energy to really balance out here, and just trusting that the process will make itself even out over time. Okay, and here, yeah, there's a planet for this one. It's Venus, which is of love and pleasure. So yeah, what I was mentioning, with the Ace of Cups and connecting to your crown chakra, just really feeling into what makes you feel good. And the more you do that, then the more intuition you will build naturally into what makes you feel good. So I'll do one more card for this situation here. So for this 5th card, I like to just kind of shuffle it again and then split the deck. All right, and I'm getting the Emperor. So I'm getting that after the situation kind of settles down, after you kind of feel all your feelings, and again with the Fire, just letting the last remnants of your past life, in terms of as terms of who you are currently, just letting that burn away. And here too, it's with Mars of action and energy. And so just actively burning any remnants of your past life and letting things clear out with the water, and then burn up with any actions that you're taking. And that's going to make you feel much more rooted in the future as well, and where you're going. I like how they have little things on the side too. This one says, I am my own authority. I have the will and the power to create my life structure. So, this is about your own willpower, your own autonomy, and that you can make whatever structure you want in your life, to an extent. And that might even look like a lot of free flowing. Because when I used to think of making a structure, like earlier this year, I was trying to redo my morning routine and my night routine, and it was great for a while because for a few months I had no routine, and then I had a pretty strict routine where I wrote everything down, I was crossing it off. And now more what I do is I have loosely what I might do, and I just see and more feel into what I'm up to that day, especially in the morning. And then more at night instead of like a night routine and then sleep, because I was getting really stressed out of, oh, I have all these things to do and before I sleep. I kind of more just do them in general in the evening, like not so much in a clump of time. And that that amount, here it says fearlessness too. I had a lot of fear that I needed to stick to this, that, oh, I'm choosing it, I'm going to be a failure if I don't do it exactly how I set it out to. But instead, taking the action to allow flow in your life and using your masculine energy to harness your feminine energy of flow in your life. All right, I'm going to do another set of 5 for a new situation. So the first one we talked about, it was this new beginnings and allowing all the emotions to flow out. So I'm choosing 3 more cards to start us off. All right, here we have for the situation, it's the Hierophant. So the Hierophant here, I'm seeing, what are your values, and seeing, I'm seeing there's these 2 people in front of the Hierophant too, and I'm getting the sense that one kind of represents the old values that you were taught, and one is the new values that you want. And within that, it's not in the sense of, oh, I ought to go against everything I was taught simply because it didn't come from me, but rather when you go against everything simply because it was what you're taught, that's similar to doing everything because it's what you're taught. Both ways, you're reacting to what you're taught one way or the other instead of responding. Where when you respond to what you were taught, you critically think about each value and say, what aligns with me, regardless of if it's societal values as well, because you don't want to go against something simply because it's what's taught in society, because then you might be depriving yourself of something that's important to you because there's some shadow aspects or some wounds that have been afflicted. So definitely allow yourself to emotionally feel into that, but not react to whatever those emotions are by deciding to do or not to do something that might mean something important to you. And here it's related to the throat chakra. So really speaking your truth, and the first important step is to speak your truth to yourself, which comes from allowing yourself to hear what your feelings are very objectively, whatever they are, even if they feel very unaligned with who you want to be. And then once you hear yourself of what your feelings are, you can also do some shadow work looking into why they got there. Then you can speak your truth to yourself. Yes, I do feel hurt by this thing, and it is still something I value, for example. And here with the planets, it's with Venus. So with love and pleasure. Yeah, just really doing this with a lot of love and seeing, what do I enjoy, whether it's something that's very against societal standards that I might feel shameful or guilty for, or if it's something that's very aligned with societal standards that you might feel opposed to because you have a certain view in your mind of, well, if I align with that thing, then I'm accepting the terrible ways I've been treated, or I'm accepting the other values that are similar that I don't share. So with this, the energy to move away from is the 5 of Wands, because I'm getting that with the Hierophant in this situation, it's a very internal process. This isn't really to do with other people at the moment. And so with the 5 of Wands being about conflict, and also speaking your truth again, you don't want to be having this conflict within yourself. You want to accept whatever it is you feel, even if you feel a million different ways about whatever it is. Look at all of it, set the wands down. Don't be trying to, shame yourself or tell yourself you shouldn't feel so many different things, or try to force yourself into a way, but lay all the wands down. Just look at what they are. What is all my feelings about this? So you can observe it. And then, even what I've found is it's helpful to talk to those individual kind of thoughts in your head and ask them, like, it's safe to be here. I care about what you say and what you think. and talk to those voices, kind of ask your separate parts of yourself. It might be yourself at different ages, it might be different parts of your personality, and really asking them, what would it mean for you to feel safe, to be upset about this for an hour, for a day, to just, unapologetically just vent and complain like to myself about this? Would that make you feel good? Do you want to be validated? Because a lot of the times, while it might feel very like logically comforting to tell yourself, like, for example, if you're complaining to yourself about something of like, I really don't like this thing and I'm really upset about it, and you might have some self-talk of saying, I hear you're really upset about it, but it's really for our highest good, so we're going to do it anyways. That's all great and grand and can be true, but it might feel really invalidating. So instead, just listening to yourself and saying, I want to hear what you think about this. I'm sorry it's so hard. That does sound really tough. And just letting go of the part that comes after. Because sometimes ourselves and parts of ourselves just need that time and breath to feel whatever the feelings are. And that kind of lowers our defenses and prevents internal conflict, so we can come back with a calmer state of mind, because it's not like decisions have to be made right away with what our values are. It's more a ever evolving thing. And so here too, with the Five of Wands, it's related to Saturn. So again, this responsibility and discipline. We don't want to feel like like we're trying to make all these decisions all at once. Like we have to be overly responsible instead of, in terms of like corralling all our emotions to fit something. We might be in action walking this path, and our emotions might be all over here. Our emotions don't have to be on the path with us. Instead, it's easier to be on the path we want to be when we allow our emotions to be all over the place without our actions also going all over the place. Because I see that sometimes what tends to happen is we allow the emotions to be everywhere and our actions everywhere, or we force all our emotions to be on the path, and that's not possible, so we're avoiding a bunch of things, and it just creates all this pressure, and then we explode anyway. So it's ideal to let your emotions be wherever they are. They're not you. They're to observe and to feel and to take care of, and then keep your energy on the path you want to be in terms of action. So the second, or the card I'm getting to lean into in terms of the Hierophant here, is the Eight of Cups. So yeah, this moving on and this really, this action here, and it also is of Saturn, like the Five of Wands. So instead, just being really responsible in the actions that you're taking, not taking actions too fast, and letting all your emotions fill up, letting them be there. Right, this person's walking away. They're not walking towards their emotions. They're not walking towards all these things. Well, these people, they're not even walking towards the emotions. They're like fighting with them, fighting their emotions. So don't fight your emotions. Allow them to fill up, and then walk away anyways. Walk to where you want to go, and that will help you figure out what your values are. Not in a sense that you identify as a person who needs to figure things out, but rather identifying as a person who's responsible to yourself and gives yourself time to naturally flow into your values and allow them to change gently over time too. So at the bottom of the deck, I get the Ten of Cups, that while this process might be very different from what you've been used to in your life, it's very rewarding. This is the card of marriage, of happiness, of reunions and homecomings. And in terms of homecomings, this is really, with this situation being more an internal one, coming home to yourself. And that might be something that you've never felt before. It might be something that you've never experienced in your life, but rather coming home to your soul's essence, to your truest, highest self in this moment. And that this will be a really grounding experience. And it has the water here too, a really emotional experience. The planet that's related to this one is Mars. So again, action and energy. And I'm getting the sense that all this action you've been taking by allowing your emotions to sit and taking guided action anyways, it's very rewarding that it's paying off and it's making you feel really amazing and very blissful, and that there'll be, so much care that you're giving towards yourself in this. Um, and that it'll allow you like a lot more space, because when you're not in conflict with your emotions, when you let them be and you walk towards the path you want to be on anyways, regardless, it clears up a lot of mental space because you're not trying to corral your emotions. Instead, you have a lot more space for fun in your life. So I'm going to pick up one more card for this situation. All right, the last card I'm getting here is the Ace of Pentacles. So by doing all this intense emotional work, that you're really going to be a lot more grounded. I see all this green in the background here. I'm not sure if it relates to if it means like it's an earth card or not, or if that's how they work. But it's also about prosperity here. So it's like all this emotional work plants a lot of seeds that you therefore will start seeing in your external environment as well, because you built up such a strong internal environment where you're very responsible for yourself. So you can start being responsible in the shifting aspects of other people around you and other situations around you. And here it's with the crown chakra too of I know. And so it's, you can connect with other people in outside situations after building up this really strong internal system. See, this card, I don't think it has a planet either. I'm not sure about the planets. Yeah, but I'm seeing this hand too, and it's kind of like floating on these clouds with this pentacle, that like once you become so stable in yourself emotionally, things just start floating towards you, just like really magically, because you're magnetizing them in. It's not about striving or taking a bunch of action towards things, but it's about allowing situations to come towards you. Feel all the ways you feel about it. Happy, overjoyed, like you're not worth the thing coming, and knowing that even those negative feelings of not feeling worth it, or not feeling ready, or feeling fear of being judged, or fear of not being able to sustain something, you know that you can let all those feelings be, and that doesn't have to change the actions that you take towards reaching out towards this hand and taking whatever is offered to you here. All right, I'm going to do one more spread before finishing out the channel here today. I really like doing these like spreads of 5 because for me I really like the assistance of tarot cards in doing channeled messages, because it gives me a lot of structure while also allowing me to flow and have a lot of freedom too, which is important. All right, so for the last situation here, we have the 9 of Cups. So this one is of fulfillment, a lot of personal fulfillment. And we have the sacral chakra too. And this person's just kind of sitting back, arms crossed, like, I did it. Here's all my cups. This is all that I've secured so far for myself. And that after you clear out so many feelings, then the feelings that you're left over with, that you more are nourishing, are very fulfilling within themselves, because when you don't fight all the negative feelings, they clear out. When you don't try to get rid of them, they clear out, and what you're left with is what you want to be there and what's closer to your truest self. And when you feel that, you can feel a lot of confidence in yourself, because you know that as many negative feelings come towards you, you'll be able to clear them out. And you know that on the other side, you'll be left with this newfound security that can be amplified by yourself, by other people, other aligned situations. And it's just a lot of happiness and a lot of abundance here. Let's see here. Oh, this one has a planet. It's Jupiter. So expansion and prosperity. Yeah, so this inner prosperity is going to bring you a lot of expansion in your external world, a lot of things that can be reflected back towards you at this time. And I'm seeing here too with, it's like there's this curtain, or it's like a table, but I'm imagining it as a curtain and like opening up and seeing, okay, I'm this secure within myself now. I'm ready to open the curtain and see like the show behind me. Like, what's going to go on now? What am I going to create with this? What am I going to bring into my life with this fulfillment that I feel internally? Because whatever you're feeling internally is bound to be expressed and reflect back to you externally. So now it's time to kind of open the curtain and to see what's out there for you that can help enhance this feeling within you and expand upon it. So with the Nine of Cups, the energy to move away from here is the Six of Cups. So I see returning to one's roots, and how I'm reading this one here, similar kind of to how I was talking about the devil, is don't go back to the roots that no longer serve you. Instead, with this this heart chakra, lean into what your heart wants to create instead of what might be comfortable from your heart because it's of the past, and I'm seeing like these children here too. It's not time, while nostalgia is great in terms of seeing what still makes you happy from the past, you don't want to associate that with therefore just going back to what made you comfortable, because when you build up so much of this new fulfillment within yourself and now you're ready to seek it out in the external as well, it can be a bit of a change, and you want to become comfortable in the change instead of leaning back into the old, what used to be comfortable for you. And so here we have a planet of the sun, so the conscious mind and the ego. Yeah, so you want to be really conscious of what you're leaning into from the past, and really, again, with the ego, letting it be and seeing where it is, but not making decisions from an egoic place when it comes to what brings you current fulfillment in your life now. So instead, the energy we want to lean forward in for the Nine of Cups is the Empress. So again, this is about the sacral chakra. It's less about trying to create something and more about feeling what feels good to us now. And we have the planet Venus with love and pleasure. What brings us that joy? What makes our body feel good now that we've got these new root systems set up? And that can be really helpful to go internal again after being out in external situations. Go back to a bit of a hermit mode and feel what makes you feel good and what's been making you feel good, and kind of in a very open, flowing, non-judgmental way, compare it to how the situations externally have been making you feel. Yeah, and I'm just seeing her sit back here and just really take it all in. And there's still, water behind her too, but also this grounded sense of, I'm really grounded in myself. I let my emotions flow. And this is really sense of non-pressure. And just really breathing and allowing, communication to be around you, allowing your feelings to be around you. And from that very grounded space, feeling into what makes you fulfilled within other people at this time. So on the bottom of the deck, I'm getting justice. So this process is going to bring you a lot of justice. It's going to really see a lot of truth come up, and it's really important at this time to be so honest with yourself and what you want, and honest with yourself too if you do start slipping back into old patterns or there's things that aren't aligned. And here too with creation, that you really have the power to create what it is you want in your life, and also with Venus again, and creating that love in your life. And it might not be the love that you're used to, but it's a more, she's holding these scales. It's a more balancing love. It's one that fulfills you on a more soul level instead of an older societal level. So I'm going to pull one more card here and then finish out the reading for today. Just making these spreads makes me very happy looking at all of them. All right, the last card here I have is the Two of Swords. So this one talks about decisions and feeling like, yeah, that you really don't want to avoid whatever feelings are coming up right now because they might be uncomfortable. Because when you go from a place of such inner fulfillment to a place of seeing how you can be fulfilled in the external, you might want to avoid any negative feelings to just continue feeling this good feeling, but it's not going to last or be sustainable. So it's really important to take off this blindfold, lay down your weapons. It's not a time to be like fighting other people or blinding yourself from how you feel, but instead be open with your energy in yourself, see the situations for how they are, feel any like really heart-wrenching feelings, and instead of trying to fix the situation or fix people to fit your new sense of fulfillment, allow your energy to speak for itself, allow yourself to be disappointed in others and situations, and really know it's not necessarily about making a lot of decisions, with the moon here of feelings and instincts, that you're building up new instincts. And here with the third eye chakra too, that you're going to become much more intuitive when it comes to how you want to deal with situations, and not anticipating the worst in situations and not feeling like you have to fight your way out of anything. Instead, just letting things come to you, speaking your truth, and seeing from that point, where do people meet you then, and how do you feel about that? So in general, I just feel like this is a huge time of transformation, of allowing your emotions to overflow and settle, and really becoming aware from an objective viewpoint of all of these things are not me, but how I choose to act and respond to these situations. That is me. And even though that is me, that's something that can change over time too. So just being really gentle and kind to yourself always in this transformation. So just breathing and relaxing into it as well. So I thank you for being here with me for this reading today, and I very much look forward to the next one as well.